Trump is a national disgrace. Have you ever felt like you are watching a reality TV show where the stakes are not just ratings but the very soul of a nation? Because what we are about to talk about is not just politics. It is a show. It is a tragedy. And honestly, it is a dangerous joke. For what seems like an eternity, it has often felt like we have been trapped in a never-ending loop of made-up outrage and self-serving noise. The president, Agent Orange, has perfected the art of performance over policy, of swagger over real value, and this is most clear in the approach from his administration to our military. He brought in figures like Pete Hegseth, a man who swapped a uniform for a camera, and now he mistakes credentials for wisdom. This is a man who wants the sound of thunder without paying the cost. He wants medals without graves, a stage without scars. This is not leadership, it is theater, and it is costing us dearly. Real leaders, the ones who truly understand the weight of command, they do not perform. They struggle deeply over rules of engagement. They do this because they know those rules protect not just soldiers, but the soul of the nation. They carry loss quietly. They refuse to turn tragedy into ratings or book sales. But figures like Hegseth, they treat being deadly like a slogan, not a burden. They imagine the military as a club to be swung, not a duty to be carried. Think about the men and women at Quantico. They are not just studying tactics. They are deeply involved in the timeless wisdom of warfare. They study Sun Tzu, who taught that the greatest victory is won without battle. They wrestle with Clausewitz, who warned that every war must serve a political purpose, or it is just destruction. They grapple with the grim truth from Thucydides, that the strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must, and they vow to rise above it through discipline and law. They read Grant, who fought without stopping, but knew that true victory lies in healing a nation, not in celebrating its wounds. These leaders treat war as the most serious task for humanity. They know violence, once it is unleashed, cannot be undone, and it must be used only with control, with reason, and with purpose. Hegseth does not know this. He is a performer with a microphone. He mistakes swagger for leadership and harshness for professionalism. Our military is the strongest, not because it is the most violent, but because it is the most disciplined. Our power rests on standards, ethical codes, rules of engagement, dignity in uniform. Even in messy or unpopular wars, service members hold up their professionalism. To give up control is to invite savagery. To throw away the Geneva Conventions is to strip away the very thing that sets us apart. And let us be honest, America is not Rome under attack. There is no threat to our existence that demands we turn a disciplined force into a tool of political revenge. That is not strength. It is carelessness. That is why the words from Hegseth at Quantico mattered. He mocked the safety rails. He sneered at oversight and praised raw force as if muscles could replace wisdom. He even hinted at using the military unnecessarily not only overseas, but at home. That is not reform. It is a deep disloyalty. The officers in that room knew it right away. They have seen uprisings grow from careless violence. They have seen families broken, enemies created, and propaganda fueled by arrogance. They know the math: kill one without care, and 10 rise in hatred. Our enemies were careless, lawless, and cruel. We did not defeat them by becoming them. We did not defeat them by adopting their methods. To copy their savagery would not make us stronger. It would make us unworthy of our own victories. The silence from the generals was enough. They knew a man who never bore the full weight of command cannot lecture those who have. And this brings us to what The Guardian reported just this week on October 1st, 2025. The headline: Veterans react to the insulting address from Hegseth to generals and admirals. The speech from the defense secretary, touching on physical fitness and doctrine of lethality, was seen as egotistical and dangerous. Naveed Shah, a veteran and activist, the policy director for Common Defense, did not hold back his words. A lot of the words that are coming to me are not fit to print. The people in that room, who have served for 20, 30 plus years in uniform, do not need Pete Hegseth to tell them about warrior ethos. Think about that. The people who have given their lives to service, who have been in the field, who have made sacrifices beyond what most of us can imagine, are being lectured by someone who, let us be honest, is more used to a television studio and a room with a makeup artist than a command center. Retired Army General Dana Petard, who commanded soldiers in Iraq, echoed that feeling, saying, "I thought it was insulting." He said this, rejecting the assertion from Hegseth that senior officers of color like himself had benefited from a quota system for promotions that does not exist. This is not just offensive, it is actively undermining the morale and the professionalism of our armed forces. The idea that promotions are based on anything other than merit and dedication, especially when it is said by someone like Hegseth, is simply harmful. And then, there is this chilling statement from Tamara Stevens, a former Navy cryptological technician. She found the discussion about lethality from Hegseth more alarming than anything else, especially in the context of the comments from Trump about using deployments to American cities as a training ground. Basically, he is saying that we are no better than Hamas because people are joining because they want to break things and they want to kill people. I mean, for anyone that has been in the military, he is not qualified to be Secretary of Defense. He is barely qualified to be a host on Fox News. But to say these things in front of the preeminent generals and admirals leading our military, has he no honor to say that we do not belong in polite society? Maybe he does not. Has he no honor? That question hangs heavy in the air, does it not? It cuts to the very core of what we expect from leadership. And the answer, again and again, from this administration, seems to be a loud no. This is not a simple mistake. It is a calculated dismantling of our most vital institutions. This is Donald Trump and his circle of enablers treating our military, the very foundation of our national security and a source of immense pride, as nothing more than a prop in their political circus. It represents a staggering waste of time and resources. More than that, it is a profound act of disrespect to every man and woman who has ever served this country in uniform. If we allow ourselves to see this as mere entertainment, we are accepting a dangerous lie that cruelty can be mistaken for courage, and that a tawdry performance is a substitute for leadership. But if we instead choose to remember the wisdom these officers carry, the discipline they uphold, and the humanity they fight to preserve, we will recognize this charade for what it is, and reject it completely. As a son from a military family, I find the spectacle of Donald Trump to be a national humiliation. Hegseth, for his part, seems to be a man who craves applause. He wants his grand, Patton-like moment on the stage, but he is unwilling to endure the patience, the sacrifice, or the scars required to truly earn it. The men and women at Quantico understand the difference. They know that noise is cheap, but leadership is costly. They will not confuse one for the other. It is therefore high time that we, the American people, demand that same clarity from those who claim to lead us. We cannot afford to buy tickets to their theater when what our nation truly needs is leadership. The stakes are simply too high.
All right, before I go, I just want to say thank you, Robert Arnold. Your words, the way that, your wordsmithing is such an inspiration. That's part of why I started my channel. Folks who watch this channel, which is not a lot, I'm going to put his YouTube channel in the description. Really hope you get around to checking it out. But once again, thank you, Robert. You really inspired me to read more, write more, and I probably wouldn't have moved forward with this channel if it wasn't for you. I've borrowed a few words. I damn near ripped off your tagline at the end, defines till death. So sorry about it. It's just too good. This video was inspired by your last video, and I borrowed a few words. I borrowed a bit of your sentiment. I firmly agree with what you had to say. So anyways, thank you, and I hope you find a lot of success here on YouTube. I know I'm inspired by a lot of what you have to say. So anyhow, take care.